Welcome back to Ration Nerd, everyone. It is great that you decided to spend a Sunday with this guy. But what else do you have to do on a Sunday other than be here with me? I'm not real sure. If you have something better to do, well, screw you then. So this is an Estonian single meal ration. This is still well within date. This does not expire until October of 2025. So imagine that. I get to eat something nice and fresh. And if you like seeing me eat fresh rations, you know what you could do to help the cause? That's right, you guessed it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, talk to me in the chat. It's always good to hear from you guys. Now let's bust into this ration. Let's see what Estonia is feeding their troops for a single meal. Now this is in a Ziploc bag, which is kind of a bummer. I like it when the bags are sealed more than they're just kind of, open to, grabsies. And before I bust into this guy, one thing I do want to say is I got this ration from my good friend, whose name I will put right up here for you guys. So you can type that into eBay, hit the search button, and then his store will pop up. And then you'll have access to some really bitchin' rations. Check him out. He's a cool dude. He's a great guy. He's got good stuff. His prices are reasonable, especially considering the rations are inside of the United States. And you guys, if you watched me for any length of time, know why that is really important. Because customs. That's why. So let's check out what we get in an Estonian single meal ration. Crisp bread chickpea. That's different. Never seen chickpea crisp breads before. 50 grams of chickpea crisp bread goodness. Food Force. It kind of looks like it came out of a kid's package. And that is a 50-gram granola bar, so that ought to be pretty decent. Got a little Food Force bar going on. We got some Food Force cheese oat biscuits. 50 grams of cheesy oat biscuits. I hope they're good. That sounds pretty epic. So there's two words on this. One is tuna and the other is pate. I like the pate word. I'm not a big fan of the tuna word. Why? Why tuna pate? Why not just like real pate? But we'll give this a try. You know how it goes. Doesn't matter whether it's made of fish or not. I'll stick it in his face hole at least one time to give it a shot. I'm hoping that this tuna pate turns out to be a lot like the tuna pate that I just had in that Slovenian ration. That would be epic, and I would probably eat it all. So we will see. Then we have our main, and our main is 300 grams of chicken and vegetable curry rice. That's pretty awesome. Some of this stuff looks like relabeled British. I'm not 100% sure. But we got some chicken curry rice. We have a Food Force disinfected napkin. That's always good. Keeping it clean while you're eating your ration. Awesome sauce. Then we have a Blueberry Nights black tea. Maybe this is a sleepy time ration, like Blueberry Nights. You know, it's funny, this tea package, the name of it just kind of reminds me of something you'd see sitting on like a gas station counter. Blueberry Nights. You know you're gonna rock her world when you take 2 of these Blueberry Nights. And that is it. No ration heater, no silverware, just one disinfectant, so I guess one napkin for your face and your butt and your nose and your friend's butt. That's a whole lot of napkin to go around all those places. Without a ration heater going on, I'm going to boil this main, and then we will get some dinner out onto the tray. I'll be right back. Well, we're back, and as promised, I boiled the hell out of that main for about 8 or 9 minutes at a rolling boil, so that's gotta be nice and hot. And we've got everything out on the tray, and I have to say, coming in at 1,275 calories, this is a pretty decent size meal. This is a lunch or dinner menu. It doesn't have the accessories that you would expect. You know, like silverware, salt, pepper, sugar for the tea, maybe even some cream if you're British. But this thing here is kind of bare bones. Hopefully the food makes up for it. That tuna pate. This happy little guy right here is just smiling at me like, haha, you're eating tuna, fucker. So that's what he's doing. So let's make up that tea, because it's our only drink option, which is kind of a bummer. I guess hydration is not high on Estonia's priority list, but that really does smell like blueberry right out of the bag. And there is a tiny little bit of tea in this tea bag, but it smells amazing. Like, that blueberry smell is just off the hook. I'm really hoping this makes a quality cup of tea, especially considering there's no sugar. Give that tea bag a little dunk. Dunky dunky. I hope that smells just as good when it's under hot water. It does have a really, really nice blueberry smell. I would be amazed if that does not taste like blueberry, because it absolutely smells like it. We're going to give that some time to steep because it absolutely needs it. With that tiny little bit of tea that's in that bag, it's going to need all the time it can get to steep. So let's check out this chickpea crisp bread. And it being in that Ziploc bag, just kind of taking a pounding the whole time, I'm really surprised these crisp breads stayed together as much as they did. Crisp breads are definitely an interesting animal. Lots of little crumbs down in there. We're not going to entertain trying to slurp those out of the bag. Let's check out these cheese oat biscuits. They smell just a tiny little bit cheesy. I was expecting a little bit more of a cheese smell. Hopefully they make up for that in the flavor department. Looks like you get 5 of those suckers. And what's this Food Force bar got going on for us? So that's just a big old granola bar. Smells like oats and kind of like just a hint of maple syrup. And that is, well, nice and soft, so that's good. I wouldn't expect anything other than that, considering this ration doesn't even expire for a while. Let's crack it. Let's crack into this tuna pate. You guys know I'm loving this. I'm just loving it. Loving it. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, that'll just make you salivate. And it dripped on my hand. Oh. That smell. Oh, I really, really wish there was smell-o-vision, because if you guys could smell that right now, you would know that I am hating life. That really smells super fishy. Here, get a sniff of that. That smells, that smells like just concentrated fish. Oh, that's awesome. And let's get that main out on the tray. That actually smells really good. Let's see what we're working with in the main department. Oh, that just kind of pooped on out of there. That's good. And it was almost a clean sweep. And we're going to have to definitely bring in some reinforcements. Let's see who wants to help out today. We'll get that Danish 24-hour wet-packed ration spoon out. Give that main a little spread around on the tray here so we can see what we are working with. That actually looks really nice. So we have some different grains of rice in here. We have a wild rice and a regular white rice. We have some carrots, tomatoes. There are some chickpeas floating around in here. There's a relatively small piece of chicken going on in there. We've got peas, and that's about it. This does smell really good, but this only being a 300-gram main, it's not that much food, all things considered, especially not for a fighting soldier. A fighting soldier would probably just kind of laugh at this meal and go, okay, where's the rest of it? So let's give this chickpea crisp bread a taste on its own. Check that out, little hunk of styrofoam goodness. And that really doesn't taste much different than any other crisp bread, to be honest. The only thing it has is a little bit of an earthy aftertaste, I guess because of the chickpeas. It's a crisp bread though. It's relatively flavorless. It has that little bit of an earthy aftertaste. Otherwise, this is just a vessel for getting food into your face, some carbohydrates, and with the chickpeas, some added protein. So we got some chickpea crisp bread going on. Teabag and that teabag. Anyway. So let's, I guess I'm going to have to taste this on its own. Man. All right, so it's nice and creamy and oily and stuff. I'm really hoping this is just like the one in the Slovenian ration where it just completely fooled me and it was excellent, because this is my dinner and the only thing I've had today other than this is some coffee. So I'm kind of hungry. I was really hoping this was going to be an excellent ration. We shall see. Let's get a bite of this fish pate and see what we're working with. That's extraordinary. Okay. That is extraordinarily odd in that when you first put that pate in your mouth, it almost has a bit of a liver flavor, as if it's not fish pate. And then the fish flavor slowly starts to build and build and build. And then it has a slightly grainy texture that's not as creamy as a regular pate that was made with like pork or beef or chicken or any of the other like regular animals other than the swimmy ones. And you really get this really fishy, but not hateful. And I'm only saying not hateful because I've had some other things in rations that were super crazy fishy, and this isn't one of them. It's definitely not my favorite, but I think combined with the crisp bread, it should be okay, and that is what we're going to do. Ooh, that oil, though. We're going to get a big scoop of this fish paste and put this on a crisp bread and see if that crisp bread mellows out that fish flavor. I'm really hoping that it does, because I'm hungry, and I really don't feel like having to go and get something else. Let's check out that fish pate on a chickpea crisp bread. Yeah, let's get that in the old face hole. Now, that's really, really odd, to be quite honest with you. I'm very shocked by that. When you put this fish pate on this crisp bread, it deletes the fishy aftertaste, and I don't know how that particularly works. Maybe it's this particular type of crisp bread, that earthy aftertaste that kind of combines with the fishy aftertaste, and everybody just plays really nice together. But I'm going to be honest with you, by itself, I would not sit here and eat that fish pate. But on a crisp bread, it's not too bad. It's certainly not my favorite. I'd rather this be a regular pate. And I think my buddy on eBay probably sent this to me. He was like, giggle, giggle. I'm sending him tuna pate. He was probably loving it because he knows me. But as far as a fish item in a ration goes, combined with the crisp bread, that's the caveat, combined with the crisp bread, this is not that hateful. It probably helps that I'm really hungry right now, but otherwise, not too bad on the crisp bread. That might be a bit much. Let's get that spread around a bit. We don't want to push it. We don't want to just try to take it too far. Maybe get a little bit of that off of there. And we've got some pate rocking on a crisp bread. Let's give one of these cheese oat biscuits a bite. See what these cheese oat biscuits taste like. And these aren't bad at all. The great part about this is these are not sweet in any way, shape, or form. So these are absolutely a biscuit, not a cookie, but they are slightly salty. And if any of you have ever had a piece of cheese that maybe on the side of a cheeseburger melted down onto the frying pan and got all hard and crispy and a little bit of a burnt edge to it, that is the flavor profile of cheese that these cheese biscuits have. Certainly not bad. I think there's a little bit too much savory going on here, and the only thing sweet we really have in the ration is this granola bar. That's kind of a bummer. But these cheese oat biscuits are pretty darn good, so I think the only thing left to do is try them with some tuna pate. One thing I can certainly say about this ration, even though it doesn't have a lot of accessories, and I think some of the accessories that it is missing is just kind of ridiculous. Like not having salt, pepper, sugar is a little messed up. Not having utensils, even if they're handed out with your mess kit and you're issued a mess kit with silverware, even if they put a really cheesy, crappy spoon or something in here, would have been nice. But especially like the salt, pepper, sugar. How about some coffee? How about some cream to go with the sugar? That would have made the trifecta, would have made this a much better ration. But we didn't get any of that, so we're just going to keep on rocking. What I was going to say before I went off on the coffee rant is that all things considered, this ration is definitely really well balanced. So this thing has 132 grams of carbs, 51 grams of protein, and 55 grams of fat. So as far as a 1,275 calorie meal that is going to fill you up and give you a lot of energy to keep going, this is certainly it. This isn't an instant energy ration, as protein takes more time to break down in your system and provide you energy. But having that large amount of protein and fat is long-burning, sustained energy that a soldier is going to need. Not that it's enough calories for an active soldier. I don't think that even 3 of these in a day would realistically cover the caloric needs of a truly active soldier. But aside from the lack of, well, silverware, salt, pepper, napkins, stuff like that, everything's looking pretty decent so far. So let's check out this tuna pate on a cheese oat biscuit. And the awesome thing is that cheese oat biscuit does the exact same thing that the crisp bread does. It really just soaks up that fishy aftertaste that comes with this pate as like standard equipment in that pate. The cheese oat biscuit really sucks up that nasty fish aftertaste. So on the cheese oat biscuit, it almost just kind of tastes like a bland pate, which is, well, kind of good actually, considering you're getting a hell of a lot of protein out of that. And even if you don't really care for fish or seafood like this guy, with the addition of the crisp bread and the cheese oat biscuits, you can certainly get this stuff down. You might not be like happy as a clam about it, but you can certainly get it in the old face hole. I'm not even going to bother saving the cheese oat biscuits for the main. I think they make the best pair with the pate. So I'm going to try to get all the calories, all the fat, all the yummy fishy goodness out of this by getting it onto the cheese oat biscuits. That way I can get it down without a whole lot of fuss. The cheese oat biscuits just kind of make the fact that this is tuna go away, which is pretty epic. Cheese oat biscuits for the win. And we have 4 pieces of crisp bread left to kind of gobble up the main with. So that's not bad. I do have to say, I'm always harder on single meal rations when they don't have a lot of accessories. I know some of those accessories would be issued throughout the day or maybe as part of a mess kit, but still, god damn it. Soldiers deserve better. I don't care where you're from. You deserve like some simple, basic, nice things like some salt, some pepper, some goddamn coffee, because everybody needs coffee. I don't care what time of day it is. You should have a goddamn cup of coffee. You deserve it. And on that note, I was going to do a 24-hour ration review this week, but this guy had a bad ration. Imagine that. It happens. And I was kind of sick. So in order for me to get a review out this week, I had to wait until a little later in the week, do a dinner ration, and just have dinner. Because quite honestly, the last couple days before today were not the best on the planet. Because honestly, last night, there wasn't a whole lot of sleeping going on because I was still getting all that out of my system. And that's a warning to you. If you're playing the ration game, just know that you have to be really careful. And even if you're really careful, sometimes the ration game will bite you right in the ass and give you the poops, or give you, well, the face poops, or to give you a fever, and, well, I don't know, like all kinds of bad stuff. So eat them up at your own risk, mind you. Am I going to stop eating old rations? Fuck no. Am I going to continue to be careful? Absolutely. Do I like fresh rations? Yep, I certainly do. That there's some kind of magic about eating something that just should not even be eaten anymore because it's too old, and getting away with it, that just kind of turns me on. I know I'm weird. That's okay. That's why you're here. If I wasn't weird, I wouldn't be doing this. And if you weren't kind of weird, you wouldn't be here watching me. So it's okay. It's a symbiotic give and take relationship up in this bitch. I can't say this, but I'm going to go back in for another one of these cheesy oat biscuits with some fish paste on top. Do a little side-by-side taste comparison with that crisp bread now that I've had the cheese oat biscuits. From a taste standpoint, the fish pate on the cheese oat biscuits is a whole lot better. But from a texture standpoint, I really like the crisp bread. It's kind of light. It still sucks up the fishy flavor and really is very easy to eat. This is a whole lot of fish for me. For real. I really love you guys. Seriously, I do. Because normally, when I would get one of these rations before I, well, became Mr. Ration Nerd, I might take a little nibble of it and be like, meh, it's fishy. Let's check out the rest of the ration. Just leave the fish alone. I'm really putting in my best effort to consume as much of the seafood stuff as I get in all these rations, just to see what it tastes like. Try to give you my absolute best opinion, although you know it's shaded by the fact that I don't really like seafood. So you know, if I'm able to sit here and eat this, anybody could sit here and eat this. Especially because I'm really seafood adverse, like really don't like that stuff. You know, this is a pretty decent tasting fish pate, all things considered. If I can sit here and get it past my nose and into my face hole, so take that for what you will. As far as fish pates go, I have to say this is probably definitely on the mild side for me. It's super rip-roar and stanky, but that's because I don't like seafood. And before we get a bite of that main, let's clean the palate with some Blueberry Nights. You know you want to rock that all night long. You better grab you some Blueberry Nights and rock her world. That is an absolutely amazing glass of tea. I really wish there were more tea in that tea bag. Even without sugar, that has an excellent blueberry flavor, a nice black tea flavor. That is great tea. I just really wish there was more of it because I could have made a whole glass of that tea with some nice piping hot water. Even without sugar, that's absolutely drinkable. Still no excuse not to give the soldier the option to sweeten it, but that is an epic glass of hot tea. And let's get a big old bite of this chicken vegetables curry rice. Check that out. Looking pretty good. Wow, that's lackluster. That's such a shame. The salt and pepper in this ration would have been so amazing. Spicy sauce, something. This, for all the curry that could be in here, it's like all of the seasoning that they put in here just got soaked up by the rice. That's such a shame. This is a very bland dish. I'm going to get another bite, try to describe it to you. This main is definitely very visually appealing. So I was expecting kind of like a burst of flavor. What I got was a slightly sour tasting, not sour in a bad way, just there's zero sweetness to this in any way, shape, or form. So it has a little bit of a bitter aftertaste. Relatively flavorless on the front end. You can actually taste the rice. In a dish like this, there's no reason you should actually taste the rice. The rice should just be a vessel for all the other combined flavors to be chewed up in your mouth. You can definitely taste the individual veggies. Like I could actually pick out the taste of a pea, and I could definitely taste the chickpeas, but this is a really bland, underwhelming main. It's kind of like something that looks amazing, just doesn't taste anything like amazing, and that's a real shame. Again, this is one of those reasons why salt and pepper and items like that in a ration are really absolutely necessary. With some salt and some pepper and maybe some spicy sauce, this would be pretty epic. As it is, it's bland as hell. I don't know what kind of seasoning they normally use in Estonia, but I hope this isn't it, because that's one hell of a boring existence. If you can get something to look this good and taste this, well, nothing. Kind of taste, there's a little tiny bit of curry taste, but it's almost like it's just food coloring in there, because the curry is almost non-existent. Like you get a little hint of it every once in a while. Otherwise, it just tastes like beans and rice, the occasional pea, and maybe a tomato sliver. It's just so weird. I mean, oddly enough, I find myself looking over at the fish pate like, hey buddy, what are you doing? You actually taste like something. Oh, that's so sad. Very sad. Like I am going to put a chunk of the main, mix it with the pate just to try to rescue the main a little bit. And actually, that main just kind of robbed this pate of all of its flavor. As much as it pains me absolutely to say this fish pate is better on its own without the main. That's crazy sauce. Well, I guess just to give the main some texture, we'll chuck it on this crisp bread, because I mean, I'm kind of wanting to give up on this main and just go get something else to eat. But you know, rations are expensive, so I tend to look at them as an investment, you know, well, in the channel, in you guys. And, well, if I'm going to pay this much money for a ration, I might as well eat it. And this is called dinner. At least the crisp bread gives the main some texture that it's lacking. That's just a sad, sad thing for 300 grams of food that looks that good to be that damn plain. That's pretty bad. I'm just stacking the main up on this crisp bread just to get it in my face hole. It's not even about it's good on the crisp bread. It just makes the main slightly more interesting. Such a bummer. I feel bad for the soldier that gets stuck with this main. That really sucks. And there's really not a great deal of chicken in the main. When you do get a piece of it, it's more of a texture difference than a taste difference, which is kind of a bummer as well. Now you figure like getting a good piece of chicken every once in a while might rescue it. Not so much. Like kudos on Estonia for, in my opinion, putting together a really well balanced nutritional ration. As far as nutrition goes, I think the way that they put this ration together is perfect for a soldier long term throughout the day. There's really not much in the way of quick energy options in here, but if you're going to fuel somebody for a long, hard day, nutritionally, in my opinion, this is the way you do it. But you got to get them to eat it, so you got to make it taste good. And they completely failed at that. Like 300 grams of this boring ass main is not going to make you want to finish it unless you're super, super hungry, or you're a cheap ass and you paid for it. It's just a shame for something to look that good and almost be flavorless. It's such a rotten bummer. Thank God that's over with, because that's really the way I feel about it. I'm definitely full. I'm not hungry anymore, but you know that feeling where you're full and you didn't really enjoy what you ate, so you're still kind of looking for something else to like bring that like magic home when you eat? Yeah, no, it's not there. This tea, though, this tea's pretty rocking. Now let's move on to that granola bar. It's nice and soft. It ought to be chewy. It smells like granola and maple syrup. Get you a little cross section of that. Look at that granola bar goodness. Let's get a bite of this guy and see what we're working with. And that is an excellent granola bar. I wish that was twice that size. That's very satisfying, very chewy, nice and sweet. It definitely has a maple flavor as well as honey. So it's almost as if they coated it at one point in honey and the other point in maple syrup, because you can definitely pick out both of those flavors inside of this granola bar. Absolutely chewy, lots of nice oats, A little bit of nuts chilling in there. This thing is really high quality and really well done. This is an excellent granola bar. It's a damn shame the rest of the ration wasn't built like this. And since we have it, and you're already here, we might as well check out this disinfectant napkin made by Food Force. I do like the packaging on that. That is extremely wet. That's very nice. I wonder if this thing is strong. Oh, look at that guy. It's nice and stretchy. That's good stuff. You could definitely clean the boys up with that if you were really in a pinch. Let's get a sniff of that. Whoa, Grandma. Okay. All right. So apparently they want you to smell like old grandma when you're done. That seems to be like a European/Eastern European thing, just making you smell like old dirty grandma. I don't really get it. I really don't know why. Like, what is the fascination with old dirty grandma smell? I'm going to get my old dirty grandma on, even though I'm going to hate myself for it, but I can go wash my hands directly after this. Oh, and if you like the old dirty grandma content, stick around right after the outro of this video, because I got something to show you. But this is extraordinarily moist, which is nice. I don't know if you can see the glistening moisture on my hands. I'm gonna smell like old grandma, like a boss. It's gonna be bad. Whew, old grandma in the house. Well, guys, that was definitely a mixed bag. Mostly kind of sucky, but there's a couple things that saved it. The pate being edible definitely saved it. That granola bar was amazing. That main suck the cock. I don't know how else to say it. It was warm. It was something to eat. It was calorically dense. It had nutrition, but you know what? It just kind of sucked. So guys, I'm going to finish up. Believe it or not, I'm actually going to finish this fish pate on these cheese oat biscuits because it was better than the main, which amazes the shit out of me. I'm absolutely going to smash that granola bar and drink that blueberry tea. Well, thank you everyone for joining me here on Ration Nerd and spending part of your Sunday with me to review this Estonian single meal ration number 10. This was definitely a mixed bag. We already got into that portion. You know, some of it was okay, some of it sucked. There was a few little highlights that kind of made it worth it. But you know what? It's always worth it if you guys are spending Sunday with me and we get to share one of these together. But you know how it goes. If you guys can find something as cool as this bland-ass Estonian ration to put in your face hole, you know what to do. You absolutely know what to do. You can't tell me by now that you don't know what to do. Fine, I'll tell you. Eat 'em up. If you could see me right now, I'm dancing a little bit on the inside, cause I finally got one of these fuckers in the country. It only cost me a metric shit ton of money, but fuck you guys, I got one anyway. Fuck you, I got one anyway. Fuck you. I know, you ate fucking most of the contents of the other two rations, but fuck you anyway. Na.